Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, everybody, shake off the cobwebs. Wink, wink. Welcome to another edition, to another installment of the Elemonte. I like to say Elemonte show. This is a subs of the show, but hashtag fade to black. I am your host, down there, Elemonte Morris. I am here with Mr. O, Anita Job, aka Teach, and Beast Johnson. But before I continue, two things, and this goes to Mr. O. Number one, Mr. O, how you like that intro? I got you up in. I got.
Huh?
I like the intro.
The intro, of course, I like it. I will say my mind. Just like James Brown taught me to speak out.
2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you see? Okay, cool. That's good. And then also for everybody who's saying that, damn, Morris, you're not at a computer. What's going on? Why are you in your car? Because I'm actually using the phone. But how's everybody day so far?
Fine, good day.
I'm having a wonderful time.
Waiting for
I'm
the program.
pretending that I'm in the beach again. You see my background, I'm at the beach.
Well, speaking of
Hey,
beach,
live your Bow Wow life, baby. Live your Bow Wow life.
no,
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
ain't nothing wrong with that. So let's go ahead to the opening statements. And Beach Johnson, you're up.
For my opening statement, I'm just gonna keep harping on it. Pedophilia is wrong. There's no way you can convince a sane person or a person doped up on the finest meth and cocaine blend that pedophilia is right. I will always stand firm and fervent by my belief and understanding that all sexual proclivities are sexual proclivities because they require two or at least two consenting adults and individuals, no matter the depths or depravity of those proclivities. As long as all individuals are adults and consenting adults, there's no problem. So there's no way you can tell me that a child who is still understanding the world has enough knowledge and experience and comprehension to consent to an act like that. So until they show me brain scans that prove that a 6-year-old can function and work a 40-hour job like a 36-year-old, then maybe I'll understand. But until then, no. Pedophilia is wrong, and y'all need to stop trying to make that shit normal. Everything else that everybody do, that's between you, the consenting individuals, and God. But when you start fucking with children, you're going against God. No matter your God's name, you're going against God. And that's when shit gets real ugly. And that's when the world gets real fucked up. So let's stop this bullshit before shit gets really out of hand. That's my opening thought.
Yes, I agree with you. Pedophile is absolute evil. Condemning it alone will not solve it. We have to find out why. I think this now, it has become rampant today. Pedophile all over the world, especially in the Western world. And I think both motherhood and womanhood has failed. We have elevated women to demigods, and they are untouchable. So these pervert people, who will be the first to say they are campaigning for women from feminism, they are the first also to become pedophile. So we need, if the society is becoming lost, it is time we need to lift up moral codes so that we all can be free. A society where children can no more live their livelihood is a society that has lost its destiny. So we all must condemn it so that our children, our little kids can have a better future without trauma. That's my opening. That's all I have to say now.
Well, it's on to me. I'm outside here, and it was a long ass line, but it was a long line out here outside the store. My girlfriend's up there shopping with friends. But I just want to tell y'all this. If y'all believe there's a pandemic or a plandemic or whatever y'all want to call it, still, please be safe. Wear your damn mask. I literally, every day when I go out shopping, rather than me looking out for the cops, I'm looking out for Karens out there and Chris. Y'all may laugh, but I'm serious as a heart attack. I think one time I was actually joking with the cashier. I was like, "Hey, y'all ain't had no Karens come through," and she started laughing. She said, "You serious?" She's like, "Yeah, because I just be watching those viral videos." I'm like, "No, you think it's a joke, but I'm being for real." People like me back in the day would have been killed. I'm happy we to the point where we can just laugh about it, I guess. But it's hard out here being a brother. Believe it or not, no matter what your beliefs are. But all in all, what I'm saying, just be safe. Sometimes be courteous, but majority, just be to yourself. Wear a mask. And if you bump into a Karen, take your phone out and record that shit. Not for my enjoyment, but to show not people, but even our kids, son, daughter, niece, nephew, cousin, whoever. This is what I had to go through so you wouldn't have to. And with that, I hand it off to Teach.
Nangadef. Good evening, everyone. I was just sitting here reminiscing about a psychology class that I took in undergraduate school. And the topic that the professor was speaking on was change. And he went on to define change as an act of violence. And when he first said that, I'm like, change isn't violent. But he went on to explain that in order to make a change, sometimes you have to uproot that which you want to change. And when you think of uprooting, that is violent. You actually tear the roots from their secure place and displace them. So in this nation at this current time, we are going through a change. We are going through violence. Violence on our psyche, violence on our physical body, violence on our spiritual body to bring forth a new day. The continent of Africa is preparing itself for African, or what we call the Africana Renaissance. To embrace that Renaissance, there must be change. There must be violence. Violence in the way you think things. Violence in the way you believe things. Because in order to change your mind, you have to break up that foundation which you felt that you were solidly standing upon. Change is not easy. Change takes thought, a plan of action, and implementation. And throughout the history in America, We have seen many changes in our laws, in our people, in our social acquaintances or socialization. We have seen a change in our religious views, going from Christian to Muslim, Muslim to Christian, and then some that say, I'd rather just practice spirituality and knowing that God is in me. All of those are violent changes. Somehow or another, people think that when the Christians went out, the missionaries went out to convert the non-Christians, that it was just an easy transformation. They just had to accept Jesus in their heart. But in order to accept Jesus in your heart, you had to destroy the foundation of cosmological beliefs within that person. You had to destroy what that person and then substitute it with the Christianity and or Islam, either one. But my point is, we have to embrace change. We have to know that change will come at a cost. It is not free and neither is it easy. And we may not like the methods of change, but my God, when the change comes forth, we can rejoice because we stuck to it to make the change. I look forward to the change in the United States, where our nation will live up to the ideals of the Constitution and make them a reality. I look forward to the change in Africa, embracing the Africana Renaissance, which is the new birth, which is a new glory. So everything that I say and do, I'm committed to uplifting, motivating, and inspiring change. That's my opening statement.
All right, all right. I had to. It's very manual with me trying to add people up on here on my phone. But let's go ahead into our main story. So I got a quick confession before we jump in. I got people passing by me while I'm being loud on the show. And I'm purposely doing this, so they'd be like, "Hey, what you doing?" I'm be like, "We having the show, which is presented by Real Cheddar Boy Popcorn.com. That is locally here." So I'm waiting for somebody to come back like, "Hey, what you doing?" I can go ahead and advertise that. But Teach, this is your rodeo. This is your show. What you got for us?
Okay, I had a panelist by the name of Kim Poole, a young lady that I love and admire. I met her in Washington, D.C. in 2015. We went to the African and African American Summit, the very first one of its kind. And she and I were on the same panel, and that's how we became acquainted. And I was just talking to her shortly before we came on the show, but it seems like I can't reach her. I've called her twice. But what I would just like to talk about, I'll talk about her a little bit and do with Ty. Ty is Teaching Artists Institute. And our purpose is to gather artists from various ports around the world, throughout the diaspora in Africa, and groom them to be the best artists. And we do this with teaching seminars on how to handle your business once you perform your art, how to manage yourself, because we find or have found in the United States as well as abroad that artists get shortchanged um, their labors, or they may not understand the contracts So we would bring in specialists to teach them how to advocate for themselves in a given contract, at least understand the wording and the writing. And if they don't understand, to hire a lawyer that could give them that understanding. But in so doing, we have built a worldwide network of artists with various genres. And our next conference is going to be in Tanzania. Um, Flight permitting, it'll be this November. We don't know if we still can have it yet, but Tanzania is one of the few countries that is open, still has the border open for U.S. citizens. So we're hoping and praying that indeed we will be able to go to Tanzania and bring the artists of Tanzania together. Many times artists from other countries would meet us at that particular location. But what we try to do on the ground is to popularize that artist, to give them a leg up, or to help them along their way. And this organization ties in very closely with an organization I used to have way back when. And
Teach. Teach was talking some real stuff. Yeah, she was talking some real stuff. They stopped her.
And you Zuckerberg.
She has problem with transmission.
Oh, they love doing that.
Yeah, I know. But since I got all y'all up on here, let me go ahead and break the news. And I think it for my partner in crime, I know it's gonna bring a big smile on his face. So when we encounter these problems ever again, we got the wet network that we can fall back on.
Exactly.
I love saying that because I know we're being watched. I know Facebook's they watching the show. I know they are. But when we have these issues, if we have issues like this, with depending on what we're saying, how we saying it, and they don't like it, we got the wet network to fall back on. I just got to work out the last few parameters and all that stuff, and I get with you on that one. Beast on Saturday. But other than that, once she get back in, hopefully she pops back in. But going back to what she was saying, for them to have something like that to help out entrepreneurs, to help them out with the contract, to help them out with funding and all that stuff, that's a pretty good program. And not trying to because they probably are organizations like that here in the States that is not mentioned, but you don't hear a lot about them. Why do you think that is an issue? I'm go give it to you, Beast Johnson.
Well, I think just because it's not an actual organization of that. I can speak from my personal experience. I'm one of those individuals as far as like all the knowledge and experience that I've acclimated over my years pursuing this endeavor. I pass that on to those that are coming up behind me. I go ahead and tell them, hey, before you start really focusing on dropping songs, go ahead and be mindful of these things right here. Go ahead and set yourself up, because let's say you write you a good song and that bitch is an instant hit. Go ahead and make sure your paperwork is straight before you even start writing the song. Know these things first and foremost. It'll make your process a lot easier, and it'll make the chances of you being successful a lot easier and more in your favor.
Well, Mr. This is more
information. I was like, for example, I was told by my mentor, as far as like your finances, you want to make sure you got a couple thousand, and when I mean couple thousand, I mean like 30,000, or access to something along that lines. Because let's say you drop a song and it's hot, and the West Coast come calling you up and be like, hey, we need 30,000 units for that song or that album. That's coming out of your pocket as the artist. You ain't got no label. You looked around and dropped good music, but you ain't got no label or no business acumen to push it forward.
Hmm.
So to have those type of institutes globally is definitely appreciated, but we lack that here in America because you will find that individually. You may find that within certain organizations and like labels, they have that small department or that small handful of people that are extremely knowledgeable, but also know how to articulate that knowledge verbally so that others can understand it and digest it.
Yeah. That's
When you in situations like that, you definitely need somebody of that caliber.
yeah.
It's good to know the stuff, but if you're not able to relate it to the audience so that they can easily digest it, it's all for nothing.
Right. I mean, it sounds like what if anybody's watching the No Limit Chronicles on BET, that's the only time I watch BET because of that. That's the same mentality that he did. He sold all his units from the back of his car. But also that's what the Cash Money Millionaires did too as well. Lil
Mm-hmm.
Baby. He did the same as that thing. And just selling it on back. It's like that ownership. It's like this is my stuff. I'm selling it on my terms. Nobody can tell me whatever, because when that label finally picks you up,
Excuse me.
you could be like, look, I could do this by myself. I already was making money on the street. So you just coming
E-
in and signing me is just
Exactly.
it's a benefit for you. So now you
It
got to listen
helps
to my terms.
your exactly. You get it. Like it helps your career. It gives you more bargaining chips.
Mm.
You come like Ludacris was the same way. Dude sold like over 100,000 units out the trunk of his car. The
Yeah.
labels come to you and it's like, you moving that much dope by yourself? You ain't got no corner boys. You ain't got no middleman. That's just you, Dolo. That's you on the block. You move 100 keys by yourself. Hey, my nigga, you need to, come here. Let's work something out. I like your hustle. I like your hustle.
Yeah.
But then you can come in and be like, all right, well, what money you talking? Because obviously I'm doing something. So what benefit do I get from working with you? Because I'm not working for you. I'm working with you.
Right. And I think that's the one thing that they fail to understand. But go ahead, because this is more of your wheelhouse, Mr. O. What's your
Yes,
take?
yes. Look, I understand the idea of just running his own business. On that stage, he has succeeded to be an entrepreneur, but he needs an education on business administration because the business must grow. He should not be afraid of growing, but if he cannot, he needs the education. And he can take up courses on business administration. That is how many great ones they begin. You start it already, you move on, but you need to grow. Do not be afraid to grow and give employment. But if you have no knowledge of how to expand, get educated. That is how we can get great black businessmen all over the US.
I'm gonna let you hound that one, Beach Johnson.
I agree that education is priority above all. No matter what you're doing, no matter how trivial or simplistic you think it is, educate yourself because the most simplistic things have the most complex and intricate logic and theories behind them. Something as simple as a door jamb requires a lot of physics and calculus and design and engineering just to come up with that simple thing.
Yes.
I disagree with with the mentality that will be a streamlined path to success. One must educate yourself in all facets, both from vocational as well as a technical. as well as academic. You don't want to leave no stone unturned, in a sense. To be a true businessman in America, you definitely got to get yourself out here in these streets or deal with enough shady, double-minded, slick-talking individuals to be able to facilitate yourself in that, because it takes a lot of trust and a lot of hope and faith with a lot of business, because even to this day, most business is done with a firm handshake.
Yes,
So,
that is true. Look, I am having some experience now. I'm building one online platform for distance medical attention, which I'm offering Nigeria, so that because of the poor infrastructure, so that they can have online attention between patients and doctors. What I'm doing now is that my niece lives in the capital. She asked me for some money for a small business. Sometimes go, I send it to her. So I'm telling her now that she should get ready with Sufren. I'm going to educate them on how they can set up an agency so that they can represent me in Nigeria. So in different positions, I'm already training youths on how this medical insurance, basic one, not expensive one, where with just a monthly pay, you can have 3 times medical attention online, since all of them have mobile phone. So when people want to go into business, they need education, they need to study the market, and they do need some marketing, and then be able to hit at the hotspots. That is the way. And if you can't have many employees, then you can have agents that can sell for you. So I'm calling on those our people, our community, that are already doing something. They should open up their mind. They should not be afraid. Capitalism is a game of the brave. You win or you lose. They should take a
I'm
step
glad
forward.
you said that. I'm glad you said that. Don't be afraid, because I want to go back to the point you made earlier about the generalization of laziness as well as the track to business success.
Yes.
We have to understand that, especially now in this age of technology and openness, and just pretty much like, all right, we'll focus more on money than all these other trivial things. They don't mean anything in the great scheme of things. So it's like blacks, for example, are now being able to, like I said in an earlier podcast, we can get into those non-black categories and genres and types of businesses, and you see that now. So when you talk about getting black business and really being out there in the forefront, we're seeing that now, but we're not seeing it in the typical areas that we expect to see and we want to see from black people. We're not seeing it in like the medical or the traditional business, but we're seeing a growth as well in the sciences and the technologies, in the graphic designs and visual designs and animation. You're seeing a lot more black-owned companies and production companies that are coming out making award-winning material. And I actually like out here on Netflix now making animes and cartoons that you would swore up and down were made by Japanese. No, these were made by blacks. A whole production company full of black people. So, we do have to take ourselves from that narrow-minded position when we're looking for that positivity. Just because we're looking for it in these particular areas and we don't see it right then and there, doesn't mean that the progression is not happening and the success is not already here and building from there. I just want to speak on that. So that did kind of hit a nerve for me when you said that, I'll be honest.
Well, okay, that's a very good one. For about 10 years now, until a few months ago, I've been connected with the Black Star Project in the US. It was a project they set up by black women, according because I'm registered with them, whereby they launch a campaign that any black child, boy, a male that they see on the street, they should pick the boy up and take him to school. I was very impressed after some years to see the black children graduating with their uniform and and toga and everything. That is what we want. They find those it's a group of women, black women in the US. It is called the Black Star Project. They took it upon themselves to go and rescue their boys. We want more of that in business, in everything. Rescue our youth and give them education and let them become enterprising. I don't know what happened to the Black Star Project. 3 months I've been receiving letters from them. But
I hate to interrupt this great conversation, but Teach, you're back. We was having a great discussion, definitely Mr. O and Beast Johnson, but you're back. Go ahead and take over. I'm just going to adjust some things on my end, so go ahead.
Well, I don't know how much you heard or didn't hear at this point in time. It seemed like my whole network went down, and then I started getting alerts that my email had been hacked, and so I don't know, just changed my whole mood in just those few moments. But what I would like to do, Donnell, I believe you have that clip of Kim Poole singing Super Lashes. If you could play that clip, I would appreciate it.
You might give him a second.
Yeah, give me a second because I'm still trying to work out the phone thing and all that stuff. So I'm gonna see if I can download the video and I can bring it up here.
While we're waiting on that, Teach, could you tell us more about the organization? Because initially we were talking about how what you're doing, the setup that you have
in
overseas is not something that's prevalent or really seen in America. And why was that was kind of the question that we posed. Why don't you see that here in America versus overseas? So if you can touch a little bit more about that program, what is it y'all doing?
She's based out of Baltimore, Maryland, and that's where it started, in Baltimore, Maryland. And she, like we believe in sharing our culture, and we feel that we're answering the call of our ancestors to connect all of the diaspora in South America, in Chile, Cuba, and Suriname, as well as North America with the continent. We have artists from Jamaica, Trinidad, and Tobago. Okay, so we're mobilizing the artists worldwide, not just in Africa, but worldwide. And this is how we're implementing our energies to elevate the artists, to take them from their art studio and showcase their art to the world. Now, I am an artist. You all may not have known that, but I am a photographer, and my works have been featured. At one time, it was the largest African American museum in North America, which is the Charles H. Rice Museum, which now the Smithsonian Institute is much larger than that. But at that time, it was the largest African American museum in North America. So I've been featured in various museums, colleges, universities, government buildings, so forth and so on. And as an artist, I realized that there comes a level of self-consciousness where you do your art, but you don't know if it's good or not. You don't know if the public will want it. And then there's another layer of being shy that you're afraid to present it.
Yes.
So back in 2003, I organized a group which is called a Circle of Critique. And what that Circle of Critique would do is bring all the different types of artists together once a week, and we would do a performance and have each other a safe space critique our work, giving us the confidence to actually go out before the people and perform the art. And from this group, there was one individual that was a poet, a word crafter, that I felt was the star of the group. And he did the spoken word, and he was just so awesome that I began to book him, of all places, at funerals,
Right.
weddings, and whatever type of event that was going on that fit his type of art. We did that. And there was another young lady that graduated with me because I was right out of college at that
Hey,
time.
Cheeks, can y'all
She
hear
was
me?
a videographer. Yes, we can hear you. And she was able to capture his spoken word on video. And we took the video and we entered it into the Detroit Film Festival. And I remember that night, it was very cold in the building. You know, Detroiters, they'll just do anything. They just had a building, it didn't have any heat. It was winter time, and they had a film festival in there, and it got cold, and I went home. But by the time I got home, my phone was ringing, and they were calling for this big time producer, Anita Williams. I'm looking at the phone, big time producer. They said, yes. They said, you won second place in the film festival. I'm like, film festival, second place producer. And what it did for me was this: it put labels to who and what I am. I was just trying to get the artists to get on that stage and allow the world to benefit from their art, because I truly believe that God gives you your divine gifts, and your gifts are not for you, but your gifts are for the people. And many artists weren't showcasing their work. So when I met up with Kim, and she told me the ideas that she was doing, and I intimated to her that the African Union was calling for the same thing, and what she was doing was exactly what they needed. And that's when we began to go global to contact artists all over. And I believe the first contact was actually Nigeria, and we had a conference, a video conference with the artists in Nigeria, and it just grew from there. So every country that we go in, we set up a Thai group, and we identify artists in that area, and we give them the tools that they need to educate themselves and keep themselves sustained and keep going. In 2008, I'm just go back a little bit. I was in Ohio, and this is when I was active with my festival, which is called the African Roots and Heritage Festival. And I had met an artist. I had advertised all over the world. You remember I told you I advertised like crazy. And this gentleman by the name of Shaky Bongo, He was here in America after he had just won the 2007 Ghana Music Awards. And he contacted me and said, Miss Anita, can I be on your show? He said, I'm here in New York and I'm due to go home at the end of the week. I said, well, my show isn't till next week and you'll be, back in Ghana. But as our relationship grew, I understood one thing, and that was as a celebrated artist, winning the music awards, getting all forms of notoriety for his specific music in the north of Ghana, he could not feed himself. And that had me thinking that, when you go on the BET Awards, you kind of made it and your money is coming
Yeah.
and you can have some kind of life for yourself. But I found that in Africa, by the way of Ghana, that is not so. You can get notoriety, but the selling of the records or the selling of the music becomes stagnant. And so we were looking at ways how we can get the artists in a way that they can sustain themselves through their art. And it was Anthony Morgan. You may be familiar with him, Beast. He's from the Midwest. I can't remember the state he's from, but he's currently residing in South Africa. He used to produce for Mary J. Blige, Keith, oh my God, I
Keith
can't say his
Murray.
name, but I'm not sure. Um, but anyway, he used to produce for some very prominent artists in the United States. And he moved to South Africa with the idea that since he wasn't making it big, big, big here, that he was just simply trying South Africa. And what he found is
Yeah.
a whole different animal. He could not apply the American model to the African model. And so he figured out that the difference was that the Americans, they sold records. Once they sold the records and got so many, then the advertisers would come and sponsor, or they can get sponsorship deals and make more money. But he said in Africa is different. He said they have to get big and rely upon the sponsors because record sales, Africans just didn't buy music. So once he was able to hone in on that, he proposed to me that we do what is called the ambassador tour. And what the ambassadors tour is that we would go from country to country, gathering artists. We wanted to tap into the A-list artist, a B-list artist, and an unknown community artist, and put them all on the same stage. And the purpose of this is to go from country to country, region to region, taking after the Motown model of that chitlin strut to popularize the music, to popularize the artist. Because of the various languages, if an artist produces his music in his language, it tends to stay just simply within that region. And I had to insert that that was a misnomer. That was a self-inflicted barrier that many Africans ascribe to. And the evidence that I had was artists like Michael Jackson. All of his songs were in English. But because he was popularized, he sold out concerts in Germany, singing in English. He sold out concerts in China, singing in English. He sold out concerts in Japan, singing in English. So language is not a barrier, but popularity is something that the artist must absolutely gain across his ethnic lines, across his language lines, in order to be a superstar. And these are the things that we deal with at the TIE conferences. And our focal point is utilizing art for social transformation. Like Professor O talks about James Brown on Black and I'm Proud. That is art for social transformation. James Brown understood that his music had the power to impact and mold and change people's minds. And what the Black community was seeking was to go from hating ourselves because we were loathed by society. They hated to be called Negro. They hated to be called Black. They hated to be associated with anything Black. And even my own grandfather, who was fair-skinned, until the day he died, he declared he was not Black, but that he was an Indian, because it affected our society and our psyche, and it was so detrimental that we turned against ourselves. So you had this social movement through art that helped elevate the minds of the people. And this is what we're continuing to try to do through the art, through the artists who have that divine talent to give a message to the world. Okay. Any questions?
Okay.
Well, you got questions though?
Yes, I just wanted to, well, I congratulate you for your promoting culture across the continent. It's a very welcome development, because it will make you know Africa more, and it will make Africa also know, African America more. But we need other spectrum of activities. I remember Bill Clinton once appointed a Black man as Secretary of Commerce. I think it was called Ron Brown, who immediately he was appointed, his first project was a multi-billion-dollar trade deal between the US and Africa. Before he could carry it out, he died on a plane crash. Look, what you are doing now, Ron Brown has started this, but it will have changed the image of Africa completely. I mean, instead of American companies going to China, it will have been African sub-Sahara. I think they killed him before, because I don't know why he died on a plane crash. It was our hope. But you keep that on. As regards language, it is true that Michael Jackson sold more music because it's in English. Africa is much more complex, but I will not discourage it. As you begin to rally them, an idea will come on how to put it on, because you will begin to observe the different rhythm between different ethnic. The thing is that African music are spiritual. A musician, they sing to the people what happened in the society, not in the world. Many musicians, they sing to criticize wrong governments. Many also attack for lack of culture. So you have to know. You have to know many of the content of those music to be able later to create a powerful alliance that could uplift the image of Africa in the Americas. So I congratulate you. I have nothing against it.
One of the things that my ancestors allowed me to witness, I think it was in 2010 or 11. I can't remember which year, but every year I do a Kwanzaa program, and at this particular event, we had about 250 people, and we had 13 different African nations, including, in addition to the African Americans. I had a lady from Mauritania who was a Pular ethnic group. Her and her accompanist were the only two people in the audience that knew Pular. So she sang a song, and after so many seconds into the song, everybody in the audience jumped up on their feet and began to clap their hands with joy. And I'm looking at it like a phenomenon because I don't understand what she's saying. Nobody else in the room understands what she is saying, but her words were power. Her words moved everybody up on their feet and clapping their hands. And so after the song was over, I asked her, what was she singing about? And she said, brotherhood and unity. And it was that moment that I understood that is not the words, but the power behind the words. And because the ancestors have called us to be together, there will be a language that beyond words that each African can understand. It was moving. Nobody knew what she said, but everybody got the message to rejoice, to be happy about brotherhood and unity. So that's my example that I lived, I witnessed, because when I have programs, I don't look at somebody else's model. I do what my ancestors command me to do. And one of the things the ancestors command me to do was that if anybody perform in any one of my programs, they cannot speak any of the colonizers' language. They must sing or perform in their native language. And the reason why they have to do that in the native language is because for us in the diaspora, when you speak your African language, we get to hear the voice of our ancestors. And that's why I know that language is not a barrier. The ancestors showed me what the artists have to do is simply go forward. Just push it. Just perform it. Just believe in it. And the ancestors will make people hear with their spiritual ear. Not so much with your natural ear, but with your spiritual ear, deep within your soul.
Okay. Well, I have a question then. Do you think that this type of structure is something that could be a potential business model? Meaning, could we actually set up a business that its sole purpose is to educate and better inform, almost like a consulting think tank for all matters of business and industry? Meaning, like, if I want to come in and get more knowledgeable for the music industry, there are individuals there that can help me and educate me. Same for Mr. O if he wants to come in and learn how to do more tech savvy business. There are individuals there that can, inform him and give him the credible tools. Do you think something like that could be a viable business structure? And if so, what other facets could be incorporated within it?
Okay. Well, we've been in business for 5 years now. operating as a nonprofit, there's two things. One, we have what's called Thai fellowships, where they're like apprenticeships, where students, well, we call them students because you can be any age, but if you're an artist, you can make an application for a fellowship. And that fellowship is for a 1 year term. And usually we would come to the country and have the retreat or conference at that particular time. But there are things that you'll learn along the way. And then two, what we do is Thai tours. Every time we go into a particular country, our purpose is to network. We meet with government officials. Last year, she was able to meet with the president of the Gambia, and also in Senegal. So we meet with government officials and we make plans. Let me see. I'm trying to think of the name of the program that was done in Gambia. They were able to get a 5 year contract to implement the program in the Gambia when she met with the president. So there are opportunities, and I would just say get in where you can fit in. Wherever your skill level lies, that's where you want to be.
Okay.
Or if you
That's
want to
the same
learn
question to
something new,
you. Okay, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, finish, see.
Well,
no, I was finished.
Okay. Well, I pose the same question to you, Mr. O. It's something like what Teach doing, talking about a viable business plan, or what's the type of mentoring program that you would like to see established within the Black community for going forward?
yes, I will prefer that we mentor the Black community into self-reliance through micro businesses that can grow, and then we have to educate them on how to expand. That is one approach. I think the brother that was here, I think of this our Cheddar boy. You see, he said he has his wife, and with them they are doing the business. See, that is what we have to approach our community, that they should become enterprising, but it must be family based first. First of all, they have to have the love of building family, and from there there is nothing. Look, a multi-billionaire without a family is poorer than the poor with a family, because what the family give, they give it with spirit. The billionaire buys everything. It's not a free man. So let us see or organize our young people, especially the young people, into enterprising and community building. That is what I think we should work on. In agriculture, in trading, in producing, like Charlie Boy, in different places all over America. That is what I think we can work on.
Okay.
Well, I
That's
look
my
at
own
the
question. Go
example.
ahead.
I look at the example of Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. W.E.B. Du Bois espoused the theory of the talented 10, saying that it's 10% of the population that can be given over to the intellectual challenges in our society, leaving the other 90% with Booker T. Washington to hew the water, to build the roads, to make the bricks. So what I gather from the two of them is that there's enough room for everyone to work in their talent and or non-talent. Not everyone is gifted with the ability to be an artist. So our focus is those that have the talent of the artist. Now there's other segments of society. We're only doing our one part where we are gifted in that area, working with that talent to bring that talent alive and make it functional. I do not disagree with building family. Family is the strongest institution known to man. And if you have a strong family backing, then two heads are better than one. So
Great.
these things are paramount, but not only here, but also in Africa. Africa has its issues. Africa is not perfect. And one of the reasons why I formed the African Roots and Heritage Festival is to share culture. To share culture from both sides, where one may be strong and the other is weak. The one that is strong can strengthen the one that is weak. So we share culture, not impose culture, not try to say, well, ours is better than yours. No, we can find some big holes in yours too. But the idea is that we all need to repair our psyche and take on a new mind to advance ourselves forward, be it through education, entrepreneurship, new leadership, divisive leadership. I think that for me, we talked about this the other day, but I didn't get a chance to bring up my point. I think as far as politics are concerned, we should have political schools. Political schools that teach all things politics. That when that person comes out of that school, they would know how to navigate those political waters. A lot of times, individuals just have a dream or aspiration and they go into politics. And they may have their education behind them, but they may quickly get swallowed up by that political swamp. I think that if we take a certain segment of young men and women and properly train them on community values, on what is important in their community, and how to galvanize and get the community behind them, that they could essentially be the mouthpieces that we so desire. Perfect
Great.
example.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes, Bill Johnson, you look, that's your question is a very big challenge, even to me, myself. Let us be more practical. Let us look for our community that is poor and then organize few of them into a group, and then we can mentor them. I will ask them a lot of questions, what they live on, they tell me all about the community. Then we can organize a project for them to start off. If they need training, I have an online education training system, which I'm offering in Africa now, which also I can offer those young people for them to, to have to seize on the online infrastructure today. So let us pick a community. Let us see what they are doing. What is their problem? And then we work on that community. And that, if we are successful, it can be replicated. That is why your question is very, very important. Let us work on it.
Well, I'm gonna take a cue from Donnell. We should definitely set up a super PAC, and from that super PAC, we can fund and establish these structures. But I won't speak on going into the poor communities. I feel is what we should do is because we as black people have a stigma and subconscious plight of reliance on others and looking for some kind of savior when you can easily save yourself. So when we come into these poor neighborhoods and poor areas that you speak on, and we're asking for their concerns and we're asking for their problems, we must respond back with self-sufficient ways that they can turn the tide for the time being. This is not a full-blown get out of jail free card. This is a way for you to avoid and kind of help yourself in due time while we get all our stuff together. These are some of the things that we picked up that, hey, if you like them, you can do this. If you want to know more, like you said, hey, I got a website where I teach people. Come to the website. We got one teacher here. We got another teacher here. We have a plethora and a well of knowledge for you to go to. And once you show them from that double, dual-handed motion, you're asking them and requesting something from them, but you're also gifting them something at the same time, only further bringing them into your fold. Because if I'm asking you for information, but I'm giving you information that you can use at the same time, if I come back again, you're definitely going to come and you're definitely going to drag some people with you. You're going to drag some folks that need to be there.
That is true. We have to, but we have to work on it. Let us start with one. And then even here in our panel, we can now discuss how we can be able to drive them into the economic system. But we have to have a community to work with. And then with that, when we are communicating with the leaders, then they will be telling us the problem, and then we can be guiding them on what can be done, We see what do they have. As according to James Brown in his music, say, use what you've got to get what you need. So exactly. That is that James Brown impacted on many of my generation. There's no joke in Africa. Does that guy? He woke us up. So let us.
We definitely must incorporate a discipline, not of self-reliance, and it's just self of knowledge. Period. Because those who don't have the financial means, those are the ones you need to instill that into them. Hey, by doing these things, it'll put a couple extra dollars in your pocket that you could throw off to the side. It'll help you start that process. You can do these things over here that, here's a little couple of legal side hustles that you can do. You ain't hoeing yourself out, throwing some extra money in your pocket. You show people things like that, it sparks that inner hustle within themselves.
Yes.
I truly believe
what you're saying is what I'm implementing now back home. Yes, what I'm saying.
Hold on, Mr. What you about to say, Teach? Then I'll let you finish.
I truly believe that the answer is within the problem. And many times we like to look outside of ourselves for a solution, looking for that savior. And I had the opportunity to go to the Mawina Institute in 2018 and address a set of youth. And I asked them, what did they want? And their thing was, I just want to go to America. I just want to go to America. I want to go to America. I'm like, well, what about here? Well, there's nothing here. Well, what's the problem with here? There's no jobs. I want to go to America. Well, why are there no jobs? Because nobody is thinking about the industry that is right at their feet. So I did a project with them to empower them. I said, get a team of 6 of you all, or I broke them down into teams of 6. Look at the problem, appoint someone to be the leader, and appoint everybody with a position. Everyone has to contribute to how they're going to solve the problem. And in this process, you're going to empower yourself. You're going to see what's feasible, what is likely, and what you can, what your challenges will be, because you're going to have the challenges. But at least you're going to put your minds together and try to come up with a way to solve your own problem. And the students did that. And they reported back that they didn't solve the actual problem, but their self-esteem and even knowing they can do it was raised so high that they felt like they can do anything. So this is what we have to do, is to raise that level of self-empowerment so that people can have a fighting chance to make that change in their life. It's just this simple.
Yes. What you said, this Johnson, I want to tell you that I've already implemented in my tribe back home now this question of youth empowerment. They have a group of youth or university students, and in fact, in this lockdown, they have started obtaining training from me, even with very poor infrastructure. And the problem I found out that, well, they are poor. So what I'm doing now is to instruct them on simple marketing, whereby they can interfere between the village producer of food crops and the markets. And so that is the way already we can, with all money they get, then we invested in another thing. So we can do the same thing with our community in the US. The youth are very prepared, they are happy, and the only thing is that I'm asking them to study about 5 subjects with me to be able to prepare them humanly for the challenge. So that is already going on. And also, the question of going abroad is those who really want to go and do business. Because already in the US, there are many professors that have arranged with the US university to give distance education for youth back home. So in Lagos, you have some institutions that already open up registered students for American universities, but they study from Nigeria. A lot of change is going on there. Not really everybody wanting to go abroad. Yes, there's a problem of jobs, and I'm training my own to see how they get job for themselves to become self-employed. That the possibility is there, and I've shown them how to do it. But already, many Nigerian diaspora are already offering education to those at home. I saw my sister today, Anita, a building in the village that a Nigerian doctors that have 5 doctors in the US, based in Texas, built a complex skyscraper like in Dubai inside his village, containing hospital and contribution to develop the village. Many of these are going on back home. It is slow, but already we know that we are not too comfortable in the Americas, and some are already transferring knowledge back to Africa. To end my input, I told you before that in Ghana, there is one Ghanaian that was a programmer for Microsoft. When Microsoft started, he became a millionaire. He returned to Ghana and opened up a technical university, all on information technology for his people. At least from America, a lot of things are going back home. So we can, if our community has problem in the US, we can also offer them. I told you I have an online. If a group is formed, I'm ready to offer them. All they need is a computer and internet. They will download material for lectures in science and technology, on information technology. I will lecture them. I'll give them much material. I can even have video conferences to be able to explain things to them. That is my offer.
Okay.
What's wrong, Darnell?
Yes. These
Give me a
second, you had a little technical. This what happens when you gotta do multiple things on the fly. Happens to the best of us. I would like to add when it comes to mentoring that we fail.
Sorry about that, y'all.
You good? I feel like we fail to balance the equation, meaning when we're so dead set on bringing in that positivity, we fail to realize that we kind of need to make them aware of the negativity as well to ensure that they don't fall into it. Yeah, and like what T said about when it comes to the artists, they need to be mindful of certain actions and certain setups, certain situations, certain turns and phrases that individuals may use that may have more nefarious purposes behind it. And, and even take it to the extent of, like, when it comes to mentoring the young Black youth, you got to incorporate that urban life as well.
Yes.
It's like, I would like for me, I would educate them. I would educate them in measurements by way of the drug game, because most of them have that type of exposure to some degree, so they would relate to math. But all the while, you have to explain to them, all right, when you out here doing these things, you gotta be mindful of these things, like these type of individuals. Like my uncle always told me, if you gonna go out here and sell cocaine, be ready to deal with a different type of clientele. Be ready to have random people knock at your door. Be ready to have to cut somebody out because you told them, don't call me after 10 o'clock. And they're calling you at 2 o'clock in the morning, want $10 worth of a product. So like the more you're knowledgeable of these type of things, the less chance you have of actually running across it. And if you do, it's of your own free will and volition. You have nobody to blame but yourself.
Yes, you see, and you cannot, I want to be humble, you cannot develop a society that...
Go ahead.
Yes, see, there is one thing. We cannot educate or carry out a successful project in a society that we do not know. I'm an academic, that is true. But if you make the attempt of that small community that I've told you about, we shall need a psychologist to work with us. So this psychology is the one that will be able to educate me about the kind of students that I will have to be able to be effective in whatever project we have. So we have to do it well. Look, you know why a small Britain, small England was able to colonize the world? Because when they get to a place, they had an anthropologist. The anthropology will be studying the local population. So the Britain had collection of all the anthropological information they got from the Portuguese, in Africa, in India, and then they got into society with that. It is the British that told us later that the Yoruba people came from Sudan because they watched the physiognomy, they were able to draw the map. So we have to learn. If we want to do something with a community in the US, let us know about their idiosyncrasy. And the only person that can tell us is a psychologist. Then we can know what to offer them. Jesus Christ said we should plant on a fertile soil, because if we plant on a rock, it does not produce fruit. It does not grow. So let us know who we want, where we want to start with, and then from there, we know what seed to plant in the soil. So we shall need a psychologist at least to lecture me, who am the extraterrestrial in this group, about the society. Then we can add ideas together and how to come and move our community forwards.
Well, let's be honest. When it comes to Britain, Britain took over the world by sending a recon team out there first to learn about the people, but then after that they said, let's send all the sick, let's send all the infectious, and let's send all the crazy first.
Yes.
That way they'll get them sick, they'll die from disease, or they'll die from the crazy ass people that we sent over there that we know we don't want. That's why we sent them over there. And once we realize, oh shit, they survived, y'all made it habitable. Okay, well, send out a couple of more crazy. Send out the less crazy, the ones that got some sense. They survived. All right, well, I guess we can send out the regular people now. And that's how they did every single country in the world.
Yes. So we have to learn. We want to transform our people. Let us know about our people, and to be able to introduce to them knowledge that will move them forward.
Well, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should take that play out their book. Get all the sick and crazy black folk that we don't want no parts of, the ones that we would willingly give up in the race draft. Yeah, send them over there. Let y'all conquer. Oh, y'all survived? All right, send the less crazy Negroes over there. Now we send the sensible Negroes over there. They should do. Hey, I always say, do them like you do them. Do them like they do us, but worse. So maybe we should do that. What you think, Pete?
But no, our main challenge is our community. Let us lift our community up. I need to see one day where there could be where scientists between African American and Africa, African American community scientists that would like to go and build in Africa. Yeah, let us that would be a very, very good one. So let us start working on that. The advantage they have in the US over Africa is that even this community we are talking about working with now, because of the availability of technology in the US, maybe if we get them prepared, they will be the one to storm Africa with development. Because they will find it easy in Africa when they go prepared. So whatever be, we are helping ourselves.
Okay. Well, how you feel, Teach?
Well, I think that you can study a little harder and a little deeper as to how Great Britain was able to dominate its subjects worldwide. And it was not as simple as it has been painted here. It was treacherous. It was treacherous. But
it was.
But I think I myself, for me, to copy them is not the best practice. I think we can come up with our own solutions and go forward. Not every community is fledgling. Not every community is poor. Not every community is rich. And even the Bible says the poor you have with you always. but I think we fight to reduce the numbers that experience abject poverty. And I think in order um, to realize that, it has to be an overall community effort. You all may have experienced this. Maybe you all are actually too young for this. But at one point in time, the U.S. was not the cleanest nation. And I remember in the 70s, if you went on the freeway, it was just like driving through a trash dump. And the people say, hey, we're supposed to be the first nation, the greatest nation. But driving down the freeway, we're driving through heaps of trash. So the community itself said, well, what can we do to get our citizens not to litter? And they went before the city, and the city council issued some ordinances that created fines that says that you cannot throw trash here. And then they went on a citizen campaign to say, if you see the driver in front of you throwing trash out of his car, write down their license plates and report them. We're going to pay you XYZ dollars for reporting that person that litters, and then they have to pay a $500 fine. Within a few months, we had the cleanest freeways because it made the citizens responsible for its own environment. In our neighborhoods, like I said, I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood. But one of the ways that we had an incentive to keep our neighborhoods beautiful is that every spring we would have a garden contest as to who can plant the prettiest flowers or do the best landscaping. And then the community got together and said, well, hey, there's some senior citizens that can't do it. Can we get our youth to do their yard, to keep their grass cut? And then as the years went by, they started donating paint. Okay, here's some paint. We'll get the youth to come and paint the houses to keep the neighborhood looking fresh. These are all community efforts and community actions. When the consciousness of the community is raised, action will be taken. You have to sometimes organize penalties to get it in people's mind. When you organize these penalties, oh my God. Kim Poole.
First of all, let me apologize not only to my panel but everybody who's watching the show. I appreciate y'all keeping the conversation going while I was trying to drive back, and I was going in and out because I wouldn't say internet, but like the Sentinel and all that. The reason why I got off my other was because it was getting hot. So hopefully it does not interrupt anything that you was talking about, that y'all was talking about. So since I'm finally at my laptop, do you want me to play the video?
Sure.
I would like to see it. We spoke her up. I would like to see, since she was unfortunately not able to be here, this allows her to be here in spirit.
All right, so let's go ahead to the video.
Well, let me do our intro first, okay?
Unfortunately, she was not able to attend to that. Oh, the intro. Oh, all right.
Okay. Miss Kim Poole.
You said intro?
Soul fusion artist. Yeah, I'm a reader bio. Okay. Kim Poole, Soul Fusion performer, Teaching Artist Institute. Poole is a soul fusion performing artist, teaching artist, and founder, fellow of the Teaching Artist Institute, called TIE, under the umbrella of the Jacquinte International. TIE provides an opportunity for artists and artisans to learn techniques for social transformation while fostering outlets for socially engaged art. Through TIE, Kim and her team of teaching artists are originating the Art for Social Transformation, teaching artistry in action curriculum and a workbook for change agents and universities interested in exploring the art of possibility. Globally, as a performer, Ms. Poole has been quietly become an international powerhouse with regular headline performances in Ghana, South Africa, Senegal, and Zambia. Trained under Dr. Nathan Carter at Morgan State University, the Baltimore born singer songwriter built soul stirring music in African influenced oral traditions with a commanding stage presence that takes each audience member on a journey through the eyes of her super lashes. Every performance and workshop features rhythm, blues, jazz, and the inevitable soul fusion that occurs during the Kim Poole experience. Her passion for encouraging the rhythm people, as she refers to them, to reclaim their global cultural economy and knack for celebrating the beauty and resilience of women worldwide is the ultimate motivation behind her work.
So let's go ahead and jump into this video, and we will be right back. Are you able to hear it?
Yep.
Okay. And
was
ladies and
it?
gentlemen, that was
I like
Kim
that right
Poole.
there.
But everybody
I
seen
like
her.
that right there.
Yeah.
That had a nice little mean
Yeah,
vibe
she's an
to it.
extraordinary young lady, extraordinary, full of energy,
That's that's soul music.
very robust in her mission. And I'm just sorry that she didn't make it. We were just
I think I
talking a few moments before you sent the link. So I don't know what happened.
mhm.
Very
We
good
were just
music.
talking.
I
But
like it.
anyway, uh, so her own music as well as promoting other artists and has taken her on various platforms. She opened up for the jazz festival in South Africa a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
But the main thing is with the tie is to teach the artists how to govern their business, how to be business entrepreneurs. It's one thing to make the music or whatever type of art, be it painting, still pictures, or whatever have you, is necessary to know how to sell it, how to project it, how to manage it as a
Yeah,
business. If you want to make your livelihood from your art,
I agree.
and that's
So we
where
use the term brand
that's the
now.
need that we're filling in. How to brand yourself.
Um,
And so,
uh,
go ahead, B.
I was gonna go agreeing with you. Just like it's the term we say now is branding. Whatever it is that you're doing, no matter if you know people will pay attention to it, then you want to focus all your energy and all your resources around elevating yourself by means of that, cultivating your brand. So like like celebrities have a brand for
Right.
being drunk. Like that's all they do. That's all they want to do. So they just embraced it and got them famous and got them notoriety off of it. So now that's their brand, the socialite party
Mhm.
girl. But you can take that mentality and apply it in a more productive, financially beneficial manner. You have any thoughts on it, Mr. O?
No,
It's
I have
rare
not.
when
No,
you
I just
quiet.
say
Uh,
I enjoy the
uh,
music, and I
I
enjoy the
just
music. I
like
understand her project. That's very good. We want more like that in Africa. We know that the best African American can do in the world is music, and the only thing that it will be good for them to take soul music to Africa and not rap music. Already we have rappers in the country in Africa, and they are multi-millionaires. Multi-millionaire. You guys don't know what's going on in that country. Music, arts, the cinematography, they go to Dubai every week for parties. They make money. Look, there
Yeah,
is a Hope Island called Banana Island in Lagos, all built by musicians. They make music, but I'm not impressed with most of the music. But this music that I heard, I like it because it sounds like the old soul music of Otis Redding, or even around that music of the 70s. I like it. I like it. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
how about you, Donnell? You here, sir?
I think he's frozen.
What?
hands down. I love it. I'm for. Hear me now? Can you see me now? You good?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Can
yes,
you see me now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Okay. So my take is I like the music, and that's definitely going to be showing after this show. So I got her videos, teach. I will show it and have it because I already did for Beast Johnson. Beast Johnson.
Yes.
How did you like it?
I already told you. Yo,
So Kim Pool, yeah.
I love
And now I'm gonna do the same thing with Kim Pool. Yeah.
Mhm.
But other than that, first of all,
Yeah,
I want to apologize for me. Yeah, go ahead, Chief.
Nah, I probably we understand.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead,
You
teacher.
about to say
Yeah,
teach?
we understand the
Oh,
technical difficulties, but I just say, she's a young, enterprising person. She's very energetic. I don't think she sleeps, to tell the truth. I don't think she sleeps because she has so many projects going on at one time. She touches so many people's lives. And I'm very proud of her. I'm proud to be associated with her. I'm proud to be one of the founding elders of TIE. I'm basically the what am I? I'm the gatekeeper. When the young people get out of
oh
line,
boy.
I have to reel them back in. And the consultant for the group, and I help organize the events in various places. I connect them with the people that I know, especially if she's going into a country that she doesn't have any connections. I'll connect her with those people that I know in those countries so that she would have a smooth transition to be able to maximize the mission while she's there. And I think I was talking about Thai tours before you came in one time. And Thai tours also offer trips to Africa, to wherever we're going for the conference. We also offer tours for people to reconnect with Africa. One of the main reasons why African Americans discount Africa is because they don't know anyone. They don't know how to connect. They hear all the horror stories that, Africa's all jungle, all the children have swollen bellies and flies in their eyes. And, if you get off the plane, you're going to see Tarzan. And it's our duty to show real Africa, to make the real connections, to put you in contact with the movers and shakers of that community. And that's what we do. So, along with doing the conference on art for social transformation, we bring the basic public to Africa so they can experience Africa and begin to make some good judgments about Africa.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, I know I'm going to be doing a playback on all the things I missed on this show, but I was listening to y'all, and I believe anybody who need a blueprint on starting their own business and also need to get in touch with their roots, this is a show that does it. And for anybody who want to try the phone thing distance, I give it a C minus. Just be in the area where it has strong reception. That's all that I will say.
They
So
close to that Wi-Fi.
yes. And with that, we have hit our final part of the show where we're gonna go into our final thoughts. And for my punishment, I'm going to go first. But any alibis before we hit to our final thoughts?
Nah.
No alibis. Okay. All
Mm.
right. But before heading to it, I do want to mention, don't forget to try out the official snack of the panel, Cheddar Boy Popcorn, by visiting the link below that is strolling down, realcheddarboypopcorn.com. And did anybody get their popcorn yet? Anybody made their orders? I still got a lot left over,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah. Made my order.
I
Put my
have, and
orders in.
I'm gonna do it.
What about you, Mr. O?
Yeah.
I'm very far. I can't import food here. It's not allowed. I'm too far away. But
No.
Dang.
I'm in touch with. I am in touch with him. I'm in
Okay.
touch with him on Facebook. We have already
But for,
exchanged
yeah, so but
greetings on Facebook.
information. Oh, okay. All right, Mr. O already on it. I know. I forgot. This is Mr. O. You know, he's Professor O. He's on it, ladies and gentlemen. And don't y'all forget it. But other than that, go if you want to get your bag of popcorn, because I ordered 5 bags. Go to realcheddarboypopcorn.com. Once again, realcheddarboy popcorn.com. Once again, one of their favorite. Well, I need to get on that chili cheese, the chili cheese flavor. I need to go on the site and see if they got that. If they got that, I'm definitely jumping on it, and I'll let you know how it is, B. Johnson. But other than that, let's
Let me know how it
get
is too,
to
because that's the one I
our.
want.
Oh, you should. Okay, I sure will. I sure will. But let's go ahead and get to our final thoughts, and I will start it off once I find it. Oh, here you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Um, Once again, I know I already apologized enough, but I just want to apologize once again for, I was I was just trying out the app and everything and seeing how it worked. I give it a C minus, but it's gonna be times where I'm gonna have to be off and do the show on my phone. But to explain the reason also why I had to do it and I had to switch between phones, it was getting hot behind the phone. So that's why I would switch between two of my phones. So it's good to have two phones. But but other than that, after hearing what they were talking about, because I was hearing at the same time while I was driving, very inspirational. Um, if y'all are willing to put in the sacrifice, put in the work, put in the rocks thrown at you before the roses are, do it. But don't be afraid to take the hits. Don't be afraid. And Mr. Joe, he probably gonna be giving me a round of applause like, see, Morse, you finally making it. To his point, don't let racism stop you. Don't let it stop you. It should be a motivator and probably a solution within the problem. Okay, if you're dealing with racism in your neighborhood, it's time for you to start a nonprofit so you won't have to worry about that anymore. During the show, sorry about that. But don't let nothing stop you. Okay, don't let it hinder you at all. Push, go for it. Failure is part of it. I won't consider it failure. Just like Master P said, he never took no L's. He took it as a lesson. Take it as a lesson. Because you had the billionaires like Jeff Bezos. He made a lot of mistakes. They thought his idea was crazy. What? He making $1 billion in a day now. Bill Gates. Master P, for example. Look at how many falls he had. He came from the ghetto. Nothing. Selling the back of his car to now having a mansion on the hill and giving money to his neighborhood. Nothing stopped him. And he came from the worst of the worst. So what's stopping you? And that would do it for me. Mr. O, you're up.
Yes. Very interesting. The program of today. I just want to re-emphasize on what we discussed. Let us see how we can impact our community. So I will ask Monte to possibly ask the youth that have no motivation to tell us what they would like to do. I, on my part, will do everything possible to mentor them. As you said, they should not be afraid. They should get in touch with us and let us, with this group, look how we can guide them and motivate them into self-reliance, into enterprising, because they can make it. There are many immigrants that made it. They too, natives, they can make it. That's all I have to add. Thanks.
My ending thought will be never be scared to take the lead position. Teamwork makes the dream work. And true teamwork, everybody takes the lead at any given moment. The reason why the Jordan era Bulls was such a prolific team is because at any given moment, one of them would be actually running the team on the court. If there's too much pressure on Mike, if Mike got a bad game, Scotty take over. If Scotty ain't doing right, ain't hitting the shots he need to, he'll lob it up and throw it to Horace and Rodman go ahead and do what they got to do. Longley and Kukoc come in. Everybody played their position. Everybody did what they need to do, and they trained themselves to where in the event of an emergency where one person was lacking, one person was not there, the others could come in and compensate. And everything's still smooth, rolls through smoothly. But when you run across things like that in life, don't get anxious and all nervous. Calm yourself. Do what you need to do. Step up when necessary, and everything to keep rolling. And with that, I end my thought, and I hope everybody have a good one and enjoy your weekend. Be safe.
My final thought for tonight is belief. Believe, believing. You must have the belief that you are capable of soaring to the greatest heights. You must believe that you can. And after believing, you will. It's simple. It starts in your mind to formulate a plan of action and the strength to push forward. Having a dream of your life and what you plan on doing with your life before you lay your body down. Because when you lay your body down, that's it. But believe, and you can achieve. And that's my final thought for tonight.
Hey, before we go, I'm gonna make y'all laugh real quick. So on the side, I played in the intros and all that stuff. I realized that I uploaded a countdown. Didn't even realize it. So I'm gonna start opening the show with the countdown. So I'm gonna start implementing that for next week. But other than that, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the show. Um, be on the lookout for videos from Kim Poole and also a video from our previous host, Iron Mike. His son got a new LP out, and I will be showing that all on Saturday. And sooner than y'all think, the Wet Network's gonna be up. I'm just saying. I'm making the final preparations. I'm gonna get with Beach Johnson tomorrow about the final preps and everything. But Teach, your show could be here sooner than you think. Mr. O, showtime could be sooner than you think.
Yeah.
I'm still putting my foot down.
This is how we're gonna set it up. I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there right now. For Mr. O, we're gonna set up a Patreon account for you. And only people that support your Patreon will have the right to call in and vocalize their thoughts with you.
See, yes.
And depending on your level of patronage, if you on the same level as Mr. O and you willing to go ahead and drop that bread, then you can go ahead and have a full out conversation like we had with him.
Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I can see that actually happen. I can see
that. They say in English and in Nigeria that the taste of the food is in its eat. I don't know whether you understand that Nigerian English.
I can be.
I
see where you're going with it.
Yeah, me too. and teach Mr. O probably gonna have the 1 and 2. They could be switching back and forth who had the best show, top one. So whoever gets nominated for an award, I'm happy with it. I'm proud of it. But on that, for myself, Donnell Lamonte Morris, Anita Joe, aka Cheech, Mr. O, and Beast Johnson. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's been real, like it's always. Y'all have a good one, and also, there's still disease out there. Take it easy, wear a mask, and also enjoy yourself on this Friday and y'all weekend. Y'all have a good one. Catch y'all later. Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Easy.
Bye.
Bye.